Hello everyone, this is Sono College. I will explain about the EchoCore lectures. The EchoCore lectures are organized as a series. There is the fundamental section where you study the most basic concepts. After that, the series is divided into clinical and pathology, where you study clinical content. Here, I will explain about the fundamentals lectures. First of all, many students basically find echocardiography itself to be difficult. There are several reasons why echocardiography is challenging, but the main ones are not only the fundamental anatomical concepts, but also the inclusion of complex calculation methods and various measurements. Moreover, in the case of echocardiography, it is difficult to establish the right direction for studying. To sum up, you have to study not only the basic concepts, but also the complex and diverse measurement items. On top of that, it is hard to determine which approach to take among the various available resources. Therefore, to solve these problems, we created the EchoCore Fundamentals lectures. For this lecture, I analyzed various echocardiography textbooks. It summarizes the core content that is most commonly covered. Therefore, if you study with this lecture, you can achieve the same effect as studying multiple textbooks at once. And most importantly, since only the most essential parts have been summarized, the course is structured to allow for efficient learning. Thanks to this structure, if you study along with this lecture, you can quickly organize the basic concepts. And there is a key point that is most important. The plans created in this textbook are based on the content outline provided by RDMS. As a result, I can say that if you study with this textbook, you will be able to learn content that is optimized for exam preparation. Next, let's take a look at the contents included in the Fundamentals lecture. As I mentioned earlier, this section explains the most basic aspect, which is echocardiography. It covers the basic anatomy and physiology. Next, I explain the most fundamental sonographic images in echocardiography. Then I go over Doppler and measurement techniques that are actually used in clinical practice. After that, you can also learn about methods for evaluating ventricular function through this lecture. Additional content is also included. This lecture also covers stress echocardiography, contrast echocardiography using contrast agents, and transesophageal echocardiography using an endoscope. Therefore, if you study with this lecture, you will be able to learn the key topics that are most important for the exam. You can consider this lecture as a way to organize the most fundamental concepts of echocardiography. Next, I'll briefly explain how the lecture materials are structured while looking at the textbook. As you can see, the content is divided by parts. Among the basic concepts, only the core points have been summarized simply. As those who have studied before may know, if there is too much content in the textbook, it becomes difficult to study. The process of organizing the material itself can become difficult. So, I have summarized only the most important points briefly so you can see them at a glance. Next, after studying the basic content, there are questions included that allow you to immediately review what you've learned. The questions here are structured in the RDCS style. I have composed the questions to be as similar as possible to the types found on the actual exam. So, by immediately reviewing and solving problems based on what you've learned earlier, you can organize the material more quickly and efficiently.